The future of NBA coverage lies in the balance. As NBA fans for life all across the world, well, we'll all be heavily anticipating what's next as Amazon, Disney, NBC, the streaming service takeover, the end of cable television perhaps, is taking over the NBA after next season could be the final year of NBA on TNT, or your favorite show, Emmy award-winning show, not just one of the greatest, if not the greatest sports talk studio shows of all time, but one of the highest rated television cable shows in history, could be nearing an end inside the NBA. I am here to break all of it down here for you guys today, but before we really dive into the troubles till end of all of our favorite shows, let me just say this. It was never about the name of the show. They could have titled it anything related to the NBA. It was always about the individuals in that studio in Atlanta, Georgia. Ernie Johnson, Shaq, Charles Barkley, Kenny the Jet Smith. And what sparked this controversy, this news, was a long time, over 30 plus year employee, do we want to call it, or do we want to call it the face of Turner Media, Ernie Johnson, saying he would remain with Turner regardless of what's next. I'm sure Amazon, Disney, they got money galore. They can throw whatever money they want at whoever they want to host their pregame / postgame / halftime show for the NBA after next season. But let's not kid ourselves. There will be no replacing inside the NBA. It's what I grew up on. It's what you grew up on. It's what your father grew up on. It's what your next door neighbor grew up on. It's what your dogs grew up on when they're sitting around the TV watching. I'm terrified. We've seen a lot of changes over the last few years to cable television, to these streaming services, to podcasting taking over social media, all that stuff. Heck, it's why I'm standing right here before you. You know, Charles Barkley has hinted at retirement a lot of times, even though he has said time and time again what he does doesn't feel like a job, yet he's getting paid to do something that he loves. If that's the case, Charles, don't retire, my man. Don't do it. You know, Shaq is on every single commercial you see on TV and even on social media. So, like, I'm sure he'll be just fine. But let's not kid ourselves, man. There's no replacing him either. I'm sure, like myself, you've often found yourself complaining about some of the new changes that have been made to the current NBA broadcasts. I'm not here to slander anybody's names, but there has been some changes. They brought on more people to do like the play-by-play and stuff like that, and the product just simply hasn't been the same. Kevin Harlan has been overshadowed by some of his new co-hosts or whatever you want to call them on the broadcast. It just doesn't feel the same as what it once was, man. I wish I could stand here before you and give you answers, give you some hope, but I'm scared. Now, if these streaming services that are taking over the NBA were smart, they would throw the bag at these guys that just come in and do the show that they've been doing, but it would be under a different umbrella. They'd still be covering the NBA and doing what they do, but my other fear is this. Are they going to limit some of the freedom that they had? Because they had a lot of freedom on that TNT broadcast. You know, as we all know, the outspoken Charles Barkley, Shaq is one of them. And even Ernie, to a certain extent, like having the control that he does have over that show. At the end of the day, though, the numbers talk and people talk. And, you know, ratings will probably go down if they try to replace them. So the power is to the people. We're all going to be tuning in regardless. We all love the NBA. We all love basketball. But it doesn't mean we're going to be tuning in to the pregame, postgame, and halftime shows if it's a new crew, if it's a new show. Because, you know, if it fails, the numbers will speak for themselves. You know, this is the era of social media. This is the era of smartphones. Everybody will be on their phones, not tuning in, and it'll show. There's one way to fixing this, and like I said, it's throwing the bag at these guys, but also letting them continue to do the show in the Atlanta, Georgia studio where the TNT studios are based, because Ernie doesn't want to leave. You know, he doesn't want to leave his home. He's been there for 30 plus years, and they're a team. So with that in mind, Charles and Shaq, I'm sure, and even Kenny will do whatever they can to side with Ernie if that's the direction that they want to go, if they want to continue to do this. Or maybe they're just going to wave the white flag and say, hey, you guys go do what you want. You know, you streaming services, you guys taking over the NBA. Maybe they just want to pass the baton. But I just don't think the time is now for that. I think they should have one mega team. If that's the mindset, then you can slowly start to pass the baton over to the new crew, the new people. But I just don't think you can make a change just like that. It's just something we've all grown up on, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. You can slowly incorporate new co-hosts, new cast members, but I just don't think it's a good idea to start something brand new, especially not this. There is no replacing inside the NBA. There's no replacing those four men. There's just none. There's no way you can possibly do it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What do you think about all this news? I will continue to cover it here for you guys on this channel, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button if you want to see these guys returning, if you want them to take over the streaming services version of the NBA coverage. Maybe there's some other guys that you'd rather see on the show. I'm open to any and all ideas, and I'm really intrigued to see what you guys think.